Okay, the recording has started. Over to you, Vardhan.
Thank you. Sure. Before I begin, I will just revise what we did in episode 1 in 2 3 minutes. So, give me a second, I will put it here.
Vardhan, your voice is sort of not coming properly, I think.
Okay. Just give me a second. How about now?
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect.
So, can you guys see my screen?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So, where are the notes? So, yeah, in episode 1, we saw what is Python as the programming language. Then we talked about keywords, variables, operators, and we talked about string, like string as a data structure as well. So, we talked about string slicing and accessing an element using indexing, right? Yeah. So mostly we did this. Apart from that, on collab, I will just check and tell what we did else. Yes, we also talked about dynamic typing and type conversion. Right. So today I want to tackle even more number of topics. So I might be taking the doubts at the end instead of in between, like I took the last one. That's why I had to rush at the end. Right. So let's start with episode 2. Yeah. So one thing I want to do, last time I was talking about and or, right? So people were asking about. So I thought like let me just do it in a short way so that people are not confused about it. So I was talking about when it is 0 and 1. So let me start with topic 1 and or the middle and is different on integers in Python. So how does it work, right? In Python, the thing is, I was talking about maximum minimum, right? If you remember. So I think I made a mistake while telling you also. In the sense, when it's 0 and 1, it works as minimum maximum. But in case of other numbers like except 1, what happens is except 0, everything is true in Python, not in general. And 0 is false, obviously. I mean, not obviously, that's how it is defined, right? Right. So an example would be, so if I had written 0 and 5, what should I get with the logic that I have told? Anybody?
False.
It should be false, right? It should just false, correct. What if I had written minus 2 and 10? No.
Minus
Yeah.
2.
So something which I have not told you is, at least in Python, what happens in Python, if both are true, then it returns the second operand, right? So operand means the things which are written on both the sides of and, right? Then return the second operand. So you will get 10. Right? So you only need to remember these two rules. First is this, and second is this. Right? Yes. Now this is for and. This is for and. Now if we see or, let me put or here. Sorry, this or is there. Then again a similar kind of thing. First rule is if first operand is true, then return that. Right? Return that. Otherwise, return the second operand. That's all. An example would be, let you guys tell me the answer. Just follow these two rules. There's nothing complicated about this. Print, not print, I am writing print, not printed here. So what is 3 or 4 and minus 2 or 10? Can you guys tell me? Just type it in the chat. No, you have to tell me the number. You have to tell me the number. Not, yes. Yes, people are telling me the number. It should be 3. and minus. Correct.
3
That's
and
right.
minus 2.
Right? So that is the logic. Even though it's not very relevant for this course, I just talked about it last time and I made a slight mistake, so that's why I was rectifying. So now, as we talked about strings last time, right? So before starting with control flows, I would also like to talk about some very important data structures, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys know about it. First is list, right? So what are lists? Lists are sorry, these are just ordered collection, right? Which is mutable. Yes. And in Python, to denote list, we have this notation where we put the elements inside square brackets, right? You need to remember.
Hey Vardhan, what is mutable? Because I didn't
Yeah, I
understand
told
that.
you the word. I have not explained anything. So just wait, right? So it's ordered collection and mutable, right? Just to do two words, so you just need to remember this ordered and mutable. That's all. And I will tell you what do we mean by these two terminologies. So ordered means that each element will be mapped to a number which can help me give an order, right? So in general, you can give ordering to any set. That's a different thing. But most of the time we talk about when we have natural numbers like or real number ordering, right? So for each element, there exists an integer greater than equal to 0, right? So if my list is example, suppose B, A, R, D, H, A, S, right? So it has 7 elements, if you can see. So I will index it from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So again, indexing is like the string. Indexing like string, but what makes it different, indexing like strings, is strings are not mutable. I will come back to mutability. Immutable, right? Not mutable is immutable. So mutability means mutability. I don't know. Okay, it should be I guess. Mutability. Right? Yeah, the spelling could be wrong. I'm sorry for that. Yeah. So mutability means if you have stored this data structure somewhere in the memory, and you can change the value at a specific index. So this just means at least here can change the value at a specific instance. So for now, I'm just writing stuff, but I will go back to code as well at specific index, right? So that is the point. So what can I write? Suppose L is equal to this. So I can put L0 is equal to M also. So this is allowed, but in string it's not allowed. Suppose my string was st is equal to Vardhan, then st0 is equal to M is invalid. It will give me error. We will see also while running, not allowed. Right? That's the main thing. And how it differs from string is also you can't have like a string inside a string. But list you can have list inside a list, right? So one more thing let me write can be recursive in the sense example would be you can write something like 2, 3, 3, 4, right? So you can have list inside a list inside a list. You can have these kind of stuff also. Right? These things are allowed. So it is also recursive. Right? And there are a lot of functions which you can use on these. I will not talk about that right now. Otherwise, it will take a lot of time, right? So I will see if there is time at then I will do that. Otherwise, I will share you some notes regarding that. Yes. So let me talk about dictionary. Right. So there was one constraint in list. Can you tell me? Okay, I will tell you. It is ordered. Dictionaries are ordered. They are mutable, and it can be recursive. But I want to make some changes with orderedness which was very restricted in this. Can you guys see what could be that? There is a very big restriction in orderedness. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. It's not ordered. But what makes the list ordered? Can you see? Dictionaries are not ordered, but there's something which makes it ordered, right? So what is that? So in dictionary, yes, the keys are there. So right, in list, what the difference is? List, you use integers greater than or equal to 0 to index, right? But in dictionary, you can index using anything. So things can be indexed using anything, but anything is in code. So there's some constraint, but that is not very important right now. The things can be indexed using anything like strings, even list. You can index using list also. That is also possible, right? So an example would be example dict is equal to suppose my name is V and suppose my age is 20, right? So this is an example of dictionary. So how do you access? How to access? Yes, so it's the key value there. Key value there. Right, so that's all you need to remember. And key can be literally anything, but there is a constraint on the literally word. Right? So how to access? So you can write dict of some key, right? This name would just give you D. That's all. So, so yes, I will ask you questions also when I go to the lab, right? So for now, I will just finish tuples and then I will start coding. And tuples will help you realize, and in dictionaries are also mutable. I forgot to mention, are mutable, right? So you need to remember this. It's a very important property. So you can change the value for a given key, and you can delete a key. You can do whatever you want. Let's see tuple. So what is tuple? It's immutable. It is also indexed like list, index, and ordered, right? What makes it ordered? The numbers. Ordered, correct. And the thing is, okay, let me write for this. Let me write for immutability. This here immutability means elements of the tuple can't be modified or added or removed. Okay, just give me a second. I think there is an echo. Let me close this down. Right? The elements can't be modified, added, or removed. An example would be just writing p is equal to suppose 1, 2, 3. And one thing you remember, you need to remember the list or dictionary or tuples are not homogeneous. Like the data type inside, like the values are written inside the tuple or list or dictionary, need not be the same type. As you can see here, this is of integer form. This is integer, but this is a string. These kind of things are not allowed in a lot of languages like Rust, Haskell. At least Haskell again, Rust, I'm not sure. So there you have to specify the type, right? Okay, so here you can have a tuple which has integer, it can have anything. It can have a data structure as well inside, which should be immutable, right? So you can't put a list inside it. Yeah. Okay, so we have done. Yes. So let me do some coding stuff. Let me go back to my collab. Can I see the collab screen?
Yes.
Yes.
So let me put the page here. Yes, yes,
Vardhan,
sure,
your
sure.
voice
Just
is
give
not
me a
clear.
second. So today is episode 2 and the date is 9. Right. So first thing we talked about today was and not. So let me not do that. That is not very relevant. So I won't be coding that. But let's start with this. So suppose I have the list is equal to, so let me take L not list. L is equal to 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 7. Right. So along while I'm telling these kind of data types as well, I will tell you uh, some functions also. Right. So let me start with something print L. What should be the answer? Can you tell me? I'm accessing the list at index 2. What should be the thing? Please
4.
try to write in a chat, right? Yes, 4. Correct. Right. Okay. Just give me a second. Let me try to change the account. Otherwise, it won't be saved. Now I think it's fine. Sorry for the delay. But there's second more. Right. It is 4. Now if I print, suppose print L minus 1, 1. I'm accessing the minus element of the list, and whatever that thing is, I'm accessing the last element of that, which is for the first element of that, first index element of that. What should be 4, right? Because 3, 4 is the last element, and the thing which is at the first index is 4. So you should get 4 in both of these. Let's try running. Right, so I've used both recursive function and I have also made it non-homogeneous. No, I'm accessing. So the last element of the list is minus 1, right? Sorry, last element of the list is denoted by minus 1 index, and it is the list which has 3 and 4. And I'm accessing the element at the first index, which is 4. Yeah, sorry. I think it will, once it starts running, it will be faster. Yes. And I think the codes will run faster. So let me also do some functions related to it. Let me not just use too much of time. So I can also have L dot append is a function which will add an element, which will add an element to the list. It won't add multiple elements, it adds an element. So suppose I want to add one by right? And let me print well after that print. This is the last element. It should be one. Right? So that's how it works. So let me now do dictionary. So suppose B as my name. So it's E colon, so this E colon value, right? And Vardhan has to be within quotes because thing and but A can be of integer. I will not put it in the quote. So let me try printing few things about this. So you can have D dot C print D dot value. Do you see these functions how they are working? And suppose I want to have the items, right? So it will give me pairs. Print D dot items. Right? Also, I can also access it, right? So let me do that as well. Print B at age. Let me see what is it gives. See, so first thing it gives my age when I access it, and after that it returned me all the keys. After that, all the values, specific corresponding values, and then pairs, right? So d dot items will give me pairs, the key value pair, right? So first is name, version, age, and 20. Okay. These are like the one of the most important functions.
So can you please explain again, sir?
Somebody spoke, but I couldn't hear anything. Okay. So
She said that, can you please explain
yes,
again?
yes. So I was telling these are one of the like top four most used related like functions related to dictionary. The first thing was if D is a dictionary, I can access the value while putting by putting keys inside a square bracket around it, right? So age was the key, right? So I can access the key value using this key, which is age, and it will give me 20. That's why the first output is what 20, right? And D dot keys will give me all the possible keys in that dictionary. And here the keys are name and age, right? So anything before the colon is the key. Anything after the colon is the value related to that key, right? Then we have values, then I have items. That's why. Similarly, different values and item is the key value set. Right? Let me go to tuple. Actually, I'm not doing these kind of these three tuples in very much detail because we don't have that much of time. We need to go back to control flows and all right. So just bear with me. If you have some doubts, you can ask me later through WhatsApp. But for now, just bear with me. Okay, so tuple condition is this. You need to have parentheses, right? One, two, three. I can have hello. So it is also non-homogeneous. You can have heterogeneous. Non-homogeneous is heterogeneous tuple, right? So I can now access it also. So print p at p suppose so it should give me hello, right? But suppose I want to change that, then you will see the error. Suppose the next p is equal to suppose 4. By taking so much time to let me try reloading. Right, so it will give me the error. I will run it and share it to you on that drive. But for now, let's not waste time. Yes, there's some issue right now. So let's not waste time. I will come back to control flow, right? Let me stop sharing this screen. That it will give me the error that tuples are not mutable. That is the error you will get. Now, let me start with the main topic for today, which is control flow. So, what do you mean like control and flows, right? So, it's just like how does what is the procedure that is happening in the program? How are the lines being executed? That is the flow, and how you're controlling it, right? So, flow is what? Uh, 1 second. The sequence. The flow is the sequence, and control is what sequence, right? So what kind of sequence that will follow is the control, and flow is just any sequence, right? So in any programming language, you have a lot of control flows. One of them is conditional. Conditional. I've shared the drive on the channel. I shared it to Swati. You must have received it in the group. One is conditional statement. Right. So next is looping. Right. So these two things are there. So let us just do control flows for now. Sorry, not control flow, conditional statements. So first we will do conditional statements. So in general, for any programming language, conditional statement is just if you are given a condition. Condition means you are using comparison operator in some way. Given a condition, if it's true, do something. Otherwise, do something else. Could be the same thing also, but for now we can talk it. Say it as do something else. Right. So in Python we have if, mostly if. So along with that, there are few other elements, few other keywords which comes in, which is elif and else. Right. So just draw a small flow chart. Like when I was small in school, so we started like flow charts related to this. So what you have a condition, if condition. You enter the program. If it's true, then chill, no issues, do something. If it's false, there is a elif condition. If it's true, do something. If it's false, again you can have another elif and it will continue till you have the last elif statement. You will have to do something, and you will, if it's false, you go to the else block. Right? Else block does not have any condition, by the way. Else block also has do something. Right? That's the idea. Right? So let me take an example on this side. Suppose I write if x is greater than 0, if x is not equal to 2, sorry, is not equal to, it's like modulus, I said the wrong word, modulus 2 is 0, then print positive even, right? And now within the outer if block, I have a elif x double equal to 0, I have print 0, then what can I have? Else, yes, else should be just negative, else print negative, right? So suppose x is 10, what should you get? What should be the output? Positive even. Suppose it was minus 300.33. So x1 was 10, x2 is minus 300.33. Negative, right? So that's all. That is the idea of conditional statement. Yeah. This I think is fine. For 11 also, for 11 you won't get anything by the way. Nothing will be there. So that is the idea of conditional statement in Python. Now I have, so second is looping. So I actually also wanted to tackle recursion. I will see if I can do that depending on time. Right? So looping has like a lot of other complexities in the sense like in Python, I have like for and while. Right? So first is for. Let's see how does for work. So you have a counter variable, counter variable, and the format in Python is for this counter variable in something, right? That something is usually range. This something, copy, paste. It could be a list. It could be a list. Could be a string, or could be a dictionary also, right? So if it's a dictionary, you access key. Yes, and we also have the range function. Range function. So I will talk about range function in slightly more detail. Let me come back to that. So if I have range, I, J, K, right? So by default, I is 0, right? If you put just, so actually there is a much more complicated thing than string slicing. The thing is range of just a number, suppose 10 is equivalent to writing range 0 to 10, right? If there's just a single number, then Python assume it to be the J, the second element, the second parameter, right? Which is also equivalent to writing range 0, 10, 1, where 1 is the step, right? So let me put it this way. This is your start, this is your end, and this is your step, right? And you end where? You don't end at J, you end at J minus 1. So that is the idea, right? And by default also K is what? K is also 1, right? So if you remember this, I think you should be fine with the default values in Python, right? So I will do some base small exercise also in the collab. Let it just refresh. I have put it on refresh. Let's see if it works. Right? Is the for loop clear, by the way? I've not done it in very much detail, but that is the idea. So what I have, so I first have for I in something, then inside also I have a full procedure. So do something. That's all. So it will continue to do it till that counter variable is there, right? This is a for loop. Second is while. While is something very special. So for is finite. We say it is finite, but you can make it infinite. But in general, when the for loop was created, it meant to be finite. Like it will end because I know where it will end also. Because for I in something, it's deterministic, right? So whatever that list, range, or dictionary is, whatever the size of that is bounded by that. But while loop is usually used for infinite loop. Infinite loop. Right? In a sense, it will keep on running. So what is the procedure? So while then I have a conditional statement here, conditional statement. Then I do something inside. But one constraint inside to do something is there should be there there exists a statement which helps you to terminate loop. Terminate means stop the loop so that you can come out, right? That's the idea. Yes. You can have break, yes. Break continue. So break is the keyword you write inside. So let me come back to collab. In collab, I think I can tell it much better. This is the 3D portion. I can keep on writing code. Okay. Now, can you guys see my collab file? Okay. Yeah. So because of the issue, the dictionary tuple codes are gone, but I will edit it before going. So first I will do looping, then I will come back to conditional statement. Or maybe better not. Let me do conditional set. Conditional. Okay. So let me just write a very simple code. Let me see what can I write. Yes, so let me write this as well. Not regular. Yes. So I define a function. I will come back to function also. For now, let's take it as a black box. Define num to take the value x and tells me something, right? If x is greater than 0, then go inside the loop. If x modulus 2 is equal to 0, then given positive. I'm assuming x is an integer. X is an integer. That's why I don't need an elif, right? Because of when you divide by 2, it can either be 1 or 0, right? That's why I will have string odd box. Okay, I think it gave me the code. Let me switch right on now. Okay, not bad. Yes. So if it's greater than 0 and it's divisible by 2, that means it's even positive, otherwise odd positive. If it's less than 0, it's even negative or odd negative, depending on what does it give when modulated by 2. Otherwise, it's 0. So let me try it on some numbers. So here only I can use for loop, right? So I can show you for loop here also. For I in range, let me start from 10 and end at minus 10. Not minus 10. Where will it end? Can you tell me? At which number will this loop end? Not minus 11. Let's see, it could be minus 11 also. Let's see. Will it end by the way? First of all, see. It will go to yes. Even before ending, will it start? It won't start first of all. Let's see if it starts or not. Maybe I am wrong. It won't even start because if it starts at 10, it will compare with the end, right? And end is minus 10, which is obviously less than. So it won't even start. Right? So there is nothing. So what I need to do, I need to make the first number as minus 10 and this as 10. Right? Let me make it 5, otherwise there will be too many steps, not 3 for that purpose. Yes. So first minus 3 is odd negative, then minus 3 is even negative till 0, but 3 is not included. 3 is not included. Right? Only it goes till 3 minus 1, 3 minus 1, which is 2. Correct? That's right. Let me try with for loop as well. So yeah, this example was, I think, went well. It combined everything. While true. So I need to have a counter variable, right? Which can help me to come out of the loop. So if x is, let me start from minus 10. I will write print. Okay, and my function is anyway printing, so I don't need that. Right? It's not returning, it's printing directly. So I don't need to print it separately. So I will just write num of x, then x plus is equal to 3. So what is the meaning of this statement, by the way? X plus is equal to 3. We discussed this in the last episode, right? Yes, correct. So this is just x is equal to x plus 3. And I don't want, okay. Yes, correct. So what if I start running this? What will happen? Can you tell me? Will it even end? Yes, exactly. Won't terminate, right? So there should be a condition inside. As I told in my notes, in that do something, there should be something which can help it to stop. It will keep on running. Let's see what happens. See, it will keep on printing. Because of constraint in the collab resources, it will stop after some time. It will realize it is not ending. So we're just testing collab right now. How powerful is it? Yes. And what is the reason it will be looped infinite times? Can you tell me? Because there are infinite number of natural numbers, right? For every n, there is n plus 1. Okay, it's not stopping. Let me stop it. Right? So let me close the output. Right? So in order to stop it, yes. Yes. So I can say for every n, an integer, there is a integer uh, which is equal to n plus 3, right? That is the point. So I will put a constraint if x is less than 10, break. So what will break do? Force the control. Control is what kind of sequence you're following, right? It will force the control to come out of the loop. That's that. Let me now try running it. Oh, sorry, I should give it if x is greater than 10, right? I was shocked, like why it stopped, right? So let me print the x as well. So before this, let me print x where end is this. See, it only ran from minus 10 to 8, right? because as soon as it became 11, it violated this inequality, right? And it broke. Sorry, it matched this inequality, not broke. It matched this inequality because 11 is greater than 10, right? This for loop, while loop here. I also took the concept like how while loops can be infinity, right? So is there a way that you can make the for loop run infinity times? We just discussed that, right? So did I mention it yet? No, right? So let me put that also. So we use like the usual purpose of for loop was to have a finiteness, but in Python you can have infinity for loop as well. So an example is for I in range. Can anybody help me how to write an infinite loop in Python? Somebody written 0. What is this colon thing? There is no colon in range, right? So let us try this. Right, so what is saying? It will start with 1 and it is less than n, right? Which is 3. So it will run. After the next iteration, it will become 1 minus 1, which is 0, which is also less than 3. So it will continue to run. After that, it will become minus 1, minus 2, and it will keep on running. Can you see that? Right? It will continue to run. Okay. What happens? Oh, it should be for num I, not I. Now it's still not working. Let me see what mistake I have made. 1, 3 minus 1. Oh, can you tell me the error? I can't see. Is it?
Sir, actually, I think the start value has to be higher than stop value, right? Because the step value is -1.
Yes.
It starts like 1, it has to go reverse. -1, it sends, it goes to
Right,
0,
but
right?
it's less than 3, right? It's not going till 3. Okay, I still not get it. Just give me 10 seconds. Let me think what's happening actually.
No, start value should be 3 and next value will be 1. So it can go reverse
Should I make it plus
in
1?
order.
Yes.
-1.
I
So
No,
you
no,
can
it will
going
won't still
reverse of.
work, right? Because it will only go till 2. Let me make it 1. Let me see if it works. But this won't run because we, yes, exactly. Right? So let me make it 1. Let me make it 10 and -1. Let's see what happens. That's suspicious. Print I. Okay, I have a better idea. Let me try. It's suspicious. It's suspicious. Why it's not running? Let me. Okay, just give me a second. Let me try it out ideally, the actual Python compiler, so that I can see what is the error. Yes, I'm just trying to verify what is the error I'm making. Just give me 10 seconds. If I can't, I will.
Can I
Yeah,
please
sure,
explain
please.
here? See, actually, for range, we have, as said, we have start,
Yeah.
stop, and step value. So start, here we have given the step value as -1. So what happens here is the start value is 1. So it starts from 1, and then step value is -1. So it goes 1, -1, 0. Since stop value is higher than the step value, I mean the start value, this won't work here. So the start value has to be higher than this
Uh,
step value
okay. Let
for
me.
-1.
Okay.
Say if you give 10
10
comma
comma 1
1
comma.
comma -1. If you give 10 comma 1
No, it's
comma
still
-1,
finite. I
it
want to make an
works.
infinite loop, right? So it works. It's not about working. Like I want an infinite loop, right? So what I was expecting was from 1 it will go to 0, and 0 is still less than 3. So it satisfies the condition. Then it will go to -1. It will still satisfy the condition, right? So in that I was expecting it to work. So yeah. something I learned today. So there's some issue with this. Something which I don't know right now. Yes.
Hello. Uh, Try making the step 0.
Okay. Good work. Let me make that as 1 and 3 again. It will take too much time. I will just skip it for now and I try to put some correct answers in the note. Yes. Must not be 0. Okay. This is also something we can put 0. Yes. So, okay. Let me not waste too much of time. So I will do my homework on my end and we'll see what is wrong happening. Because according to the logic of range, this should have worked like infinite loop, but there's some constraint which is not allowing me to do this, right? Yes. So let me not waste too much of time on this.
But sir, if we think that 0 is less than 3 and still it will work, so then it
Yeah,
will
it will
go
go to
till
the
an infinite, right?
negative side. Yes. That was what I was expecting, but there's some other technicalities which is happening inside the range, which I also don't know right now.
But it's not giving an error,
Yeah,
so maybe it will go to infinite. That's why it's not
could be
working.
that could be the reason. But I was expecting to have an infinity kind of thing. Yeah. I will try to read the documentation regarding range. It could be there is a constraint. Because as far as I remember, I can make this pretty loop using for. So before going to notes, let me start with function. Right? I already made a function, but it's fine. Function. Yes, and that could be a thing, but I remember you can make an infinite loop. Maybe the way you make that infinite loop is different. But, so I will do my homework and get back to you. The function is just so. What are the things in function? First is the definition, right? Definition of a function. So what does it include? It has the syntax, parameters, and a body. Right? So let me write example. You have already seen example. So def suppose new function. Right? So this is the function definition. This is the syntax for writing that definition. So this is def, that is the function name. And this function name is like it follows the rules of the variable naming system, right? Now I will have parameters, suppose a comma b. And then I will do now this is the body part. The body part, let me just print the sum and the product, which is return. So there are two ways, right? Either you return this, return sum from a product. Okay, one second, let me open this factor. Right? Or I can also print. But do you know what is the difference between printing and return? Right? So when you're printing, the function is not outputting anything. You're just putting something on the screen. That is a screen output, but the function itself is not outputting some value, right? If you use the print, let me just run it first. It won't give me anything because I will have the call, function call. So new function a comma b, not a comma b, I need to put specific value. Suppose this, right? Oh, that is, by the way, this is the collab issue. You should not get something on the screen if you use ideally compiler. Let me try it, right? Because in collab, if you run this function, whatever the value is written at the last statement, it prints on the screen, but it is not true. Yes. So it prints, it prints, but because of collab issue, right? It's because of collab, by the way. It's not because the function is printing something. But if I suppose I have just a print statement, it will also print again, but that is actual printing on the screen. Yes? So the function returns method. Returns nothing, and nothing in Python is none. You should remember that nothing in Python is none. Right? Is it clear what I've done? By the way, don't get confused with this thing printing on the screen. Like I was taking a class somewhere else also, the people have the same doubt. It's the only issue with the collab that even though the function is returning something, it will give that as output. Right? Just remember that.
Sir, if we comment both the return and print values, will
Yes,
it print
that's the
none?
nice thing. Let's see. Nothing is there.
Okay, sir.
But if you run it in ideally, the actual compiler or the official compiler of Python, if you just have return something, it won't have anything, no effect. If you're not printing that, right? Yes. So if there is a return statement, I need to have a print statement here. This new function 2030 should be inside a print statement. But I don't need this is the issue. It's not the issue. There is some purpose of that. But this is a property of collab. It's not the property of Python. It will even with the function return because of collab. Yes.
So a function can return
Function
two
can return
values.
any amount of values, like finite obviously. Yes. So that is also type, right? So here, what is the type of this function? It is taking two integers, this one z square, two z square, right? Z means the set of integers, the Halem. Here the sum and product are, and that too, this return type is not the z square, it's a tuple of z, right? Can you see it's a tuple? It's a tuple with a two elements. I can also make it as a list. So I can also return this. That's the point. Correct? That's why I want to take some data structure so that I can use it on the way. Right? So now I have done functions. So let me talk about, yes, let me get back to notes and write something about modules. Modules, I can't make it here in Collab. That's the issue. I need like an actual local system where I can make it. Yes, so there's some constraint of what I can do, what I can't do. Just give me 10 seconds.
So what are
Yeah, I'm going to
modules?
cover that, but I want to cover that in my notes. Actually. Because in Collab, I can't make modules that easily. I will explain that. What is the issue?
Oh, okay.
Function done in Collab. First is, then I have modules. Oh, I will also mention my homework. Go with documentation of range function. That is my homework. Then I will jump to modules. So what do you think is a module? Please don't search it on net. Just what do you think should be a module? Like why just the word?
Maybe a part
Correct.
of
That is a
something.
very valid answer. Anything else? Collection of functions, predefined code. Yes, all the answers are correct. Right? If you just no, you don't search module in Python. If you just search the meaning of module just in English, it just means set of standardized, spelling could be wrong, sorry for that, standardized paths or units, right? So in Python, the context of Python, it is just some collection of functions. Yes. It's in terms of computer science or programming languages, it's just the collection of functions. Right? So the issue that I was facing that I can't do it in Collab is I need a local system or just a server where I can store this module. But in Collab, if I write a function, it becomes a part of the whole code. Right? So the thing is, if I make a module, it did not become a square. Just give me a second. Right? So this I make a file named module. Okay, module I should not name. Let me name it my module. mymod.py. So I make a file named as mymod.py and I define some function. Suppose def function 1 with some parameters with body 1. Then I define function 2 its body. Right? So that is the structure. I'm not doing it in too much of detail, but you get the idea, right? So you need to have a file name as mymod.py, which will store this function. Now your actual code, in order to use this, what will you do? You will have import mymod. Right? That is the thing that you need to do. Right? So do you know what math module where we have sign function, float, see? That's why we call it module, right? It's a collection of lot of functions. Yes, math, not math, it's math. No, math. Then there is NumPy. You will learn about NumPy, pandas in your diploma, right? So you have these kind of things. This is one of the most used uh, Python modules. So how do you write? You just write import your module and then do whatever you want. Yes, that's the idea. Do whatever you want. Yes, so that is the idea. Yes, hello.
Hello. Hello. Uh, Should we have to install the module or directly
Okay,
import it?
that's a good question. In the sense, I will take that as a vague question. So some modules are already there with when you download Python. It is in Collab also. Either you use Collab or you download Python from their official website. So they already give you some collection of most popular some most used Python modules. So you can directly write import and you will be done. Even in Collab, like the most used modules are already installed in Collab. But if you need to use some special kind of module, you need to write pip install. Let me just write it also. So the statement is pip install. That's something, right? I could be wrong with the statement, but you need to use this. You need to install it from somewhere. So that you need to specify. It's usually you write pip install and that module name. That's all. Does that answer your question?
So how do we know if the module is
Yes.
installed
So you
earlier or
can
not?
first write import if you want to use that module. Just write import that module. If it is not there, it will start giving you error. That's the easiest way you can tell. Apart from that, also, I
Okay, thank
think if you use help through help, there is like a help function, not help function, but there is a command help in command prompt. If you put that, that will also tell you what kind of modules is already there in the system, right? Its pip list also works. I am not sure if you need to mention install in between or not, but yeah, you can just remove install and write the module name. Kind of
So we can also import all the files, like existing files from the
existing
computer,
file from the
right?
company. Yes, in Python you can. If you're just using a normal Python compiler, you can do that as well. So in order to for filing
Okay.
files and folders, there is uh, there's an inbuilt module which is already there in your program. You don't need to import it. This you can use read. These kind of things are there. Read functions. These kind of things are there, which is already there in all the Python programs. You don't need to import these kind of things. Yeah. But for special functionality, you might need to import different kind of modules. That's a different thing. So if you remember in the first lecture, we use max, right? Use max and min. This kind of element function you don't need to import. It's already there for all. Whenever you write the code, these things are already imported automatically. You don't need to write import for these. Yes? Even print, even when I write print, this is a function, right? But you never imported any module to use it because it's already inbuilt in all the codes you have. Right? Is it here?
Yes, sir.
Nice. So I will do something which I always like is recursion. Let me just see if there are any topics left. So as promised, we talked about control flows, if and everything. Then function and modules also. Yes, debugging is left. Let me take that. Sorry, debugging. Just give me a minute. Let me go over my notes. Okay, somebody asked a very nice doubt. Late. What is the difference between pip install in Jupyter Notebook and pip install in command prompt? Because when I run Python from command prompt.py, I have to pip install again. Okay, one thing I am not sure about the question, but if you are using pip install in Jupyter Notebook or in Collab, whatever you want to use, so that thing is Therefore, only that file, like that collab file or that Jupyter file, that is there. But if you're running in a command prompt on your local system, the keyword is local system, then if it is installed in some folder that whose directory you know, that will stay there. Then you don't need to like install it again. But while importing, you need to specify where it is. That's right. Okay, so let me just do the last promised topic. After that, I will come back to recursion, debugging. So debugging is also known as exception handling, exceptional, not exceptional, exception handling, right? So we do a lot of things, right, which creates a lot of error, right? So in order to handle, otherwise, like as I told you in the first lecture, the first topic, that Python is interpreted language, right? So if you write a line, if it gives error, it just stops, which literally it's very annoying, right? Every line is getting an error, it stops. It does not compile. It's not a compiled language. It stops. In order to handle this, if there is some error which does not harm rest of the code, I will try to catch that and tell the user, okay, this kind of error was there, but it's fine. I will keep on running, not an issue, right? And I remember while I was talking about conditional statements, somebody wrote the word finally. That finally is not in if else. It is in the try except block, right? So here we talk about try except finally, right? So suppose so whatever you feel like this portion of the code will kind of give me error, right? So you put that inside the try block. So can give me error. Can. It might not give me error, no issues. It will keep on running. Can give me error. If you feel there is suspicion that it can give me error, you put that in the try block. Then I accept. Right? If it gives me an error, you check. If it is this form of error, error one, you do something. If not, suppose it's of some other kind, error two, we do something else for the same thing, do something. And you will do it finite number of times till you're satisfied, right? And after that, if nothing works, you have the finally. So if none of the errors are matched, you come back to the finally block and do something again, right? So I will take an example here itself. So suppose I make a function def divide. It divides n with m, right? So when is divisible not divisibility is not allowed. Can you tell me? So I want to find n by m. When m is 0, I cannot divide by rule, right?
Is
Yes.
0.
By axioms of math, I can't divide by 0. It's not defined for now, till now. Right? So if I write try, because I feel, oh yeah, if I divide by something 0, it might give me error, right? If I m could be anything right now. So I will put that in a try block. There is a suspicion that I will get error. So I put x is equal to n by m, right? Then accept. So what kind of error I get? There's different kind of errors in Python. You can look over that. So one is zero division error. So whenever divided by zero, yes. By the way, somebody wrote zero division error with small z, small d, and small e, but it is not. It's capital Z, D, and E. So Python is very specific. How does it write these kind of errors, right? So you need to mention in that format only. Otherwise, it won't catch. If it's that's the case, you write x is equal to make m valid, right? If there is no issue, I am very chill, right? If it's divisible by if it's divisible by some non-zero number, it's fine. I will just return x, right? So can you see if m was not 0, it will just return actual quotient. Otherwise, it will return make m valid. Yes, is it correct? Sorry. Did you guys understand what I said? How does it work? I've not used the finally block, but finally when none of the errors are matching, it will go to the finally block. So nothing more, right? So let me see if there are any other topics which was promised to be done. Yes, so we have.
So don't use finally.
Could you repeat?
Sir, you told that the try the try functions like should end in finally, but you
Correct.
didn't
So if
use
you
the
see if else
finally.
is using else is not compulsory, right? So finally something like else, right? So let me write. It's like else, not compulsory to be used. So you don't need to use. But if there is a try, there should be except block, right? So yes, that's the constraint we have. That's all. Is it clear? The thing is, like in these kind of lectures, I'm just giving the idea, right? If I try doing everything in detail, you won't understand. So if you feel there's something which you couldn't understand very well, so you can refer to the documentation or you can search the topics. Nowadays, like their Python resources are huge. Yes, you can do that. We are just doing those kind of topics which are relevant for making web pages later on, which we'll do in the last 3 episodes, right? Let me just go over what I've done till now. Yes, so this was my promise to do and or on integers. Then we talk about data structures, this dictionary tuples. Then we talk about control flows, conditional statements, looping. If you search, so I gave myself as a homework, right? So I will go over the documentation of range. You will write range function in Python documentation. You will get the thing. Right, so I did conditional statement, if block, then looping using for and while. Then I talked about module. Then I talked about debugging, which is also known as exception handling. Right. So let me do something which I really like, which is recursion. Oh, before that also, do you guys have any doubts? I will first address the doubts and then come back to recursion.
Excuse me, sir, I am not able to understand module.
Module? What
Yeah.
specifically you did not understand?
You please explain
sure,
again.
sure. So module is just like
I am not able to catch it.
yes, I will do that. Sure. So module is a collection of functions. So if you have made some functions, so in order to access those functions, you need to import them. That's the idea. You have made some your user-defined functions. You can't just access them directly, right? If it's in some other file. So that's why I couldn't do it in collaborate, because in collab, if I write a function, it will be there. That's why if I made a different file known as my mod, which is my module.py, and I have defined my functions. So in order to use that in my some other Python file, I will write import my mod, and then I can use the functions defined in that module. Does this make sense to the person who asked the question? Yes. Yes, great.
Yes, sir.
And one more thing, I will just reiterate that I use max, min, and print. These functions are already inbuilt in all the Python code. These basic functions are already inbuilt in all the Python code. That's why I don't need to import anything. Right? So if you guys have any doubts, you can raise your hands or write in the chat. This I will take doubts till like for 5-7 minutes. Somebody else, we always have.
So if we don't have doubts, can we leave the meeting?
No, I will do recursion, which is also part of function.
Okay.
Sir, can you repeat tuples once
Yes,
again?
sure.
Tuples.
So if you're telling me repeat something, I also wanted to know what specifically you couldn't understand, right?
Sir, tuple is basically a list
It's a
or
list
something
which is
else.
immutable, but it's a list without the square bracket. It has like this parentheses, right? So instead of this, it has this, and instead of mutability, I have immutability. The immutability, you can't change the value to a specific text. So I can't write t of 0 is something. This is not a yes.
We can append also. We can append
Appending you
also.
can't do. Exactly, you can't modify once the tuple is made. You can't do anything about it. But there is.
Sir, it is static or dynamic?
Could you repeat? Dynamic what?
Static or this is
Yes, in
static.
some way it is static. Yes, correct. You can. The word is correct.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
How to remember?
Sir, so why we can't use list all the time? as they are same,
Yes.
only a difference
That
of
is the safety issue.
mutability
Like
and
if you want,
immutability.
if you have a tuple, so if somebody wants to, if somebody access that tuple, he or she won't be able to manipulate it, right, or change it. So in case of safety, when you want the data to be safe so that nobody can change it, modify or anything, you use a tuple. That is the major purpose. So you will see when you look over some much more complex stuff. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Sir, if the
So,
element of the tuple is list, then can we modify the list or
Once again,
not?
what are you saying? If there is a list inside a tuple,
Yes, sir. Then can we append the element on
I
list?
don't think the lists are allowed inside a tuple. Let me check that. Yes, just give me 10 seconds. Let me check. I feel lists are not allowed inside a tuple because otherwise you can modify the list, but that will modify the tuple itself. So just give me a second. I will check if that is the case. Please.
sir, can an element be repeated in a tuple?
Yes, yes, anything is possible, but once it is specified, you can't change anything. So who was the person who asked about like can you modify a tuple which has lists inside it? So
Me,
I will
sir.
tell you the answer in this turning it. Yes, you can modify a list, actual element inside the list. Let me try appending also. So see, okay, I'm not sharing my screen. Sorry for that. So I will tell you the actual thing. Actual 7. Okay, actually there is a list inside a tuple. You are allowed to modify that list. I got it. Yes. So I was slightly wrong there. If there is a tuple which has lists inside it, you can modify that. That is allowed, right?
Okay, sir.
Yes, Anurag, I'm sorry, couldn't respond to you because there were like a vocal doubts. So yes, I will do the float formatting thing in the next lecture if required, right? Today also that's why I covered and not because last time I talked and people were interested. So I will do that. Sorry for that.
Sir, can a dictionary be defined inside a tuple?
Dictionary design. Yes, I think it should be possible. It should be possible because if list is working that way, you can put a dictionary as well, right? Any more doubts? And Anurag, yes, I will do floating thing. Sorry, float formatting in the next class for sure. Anything else? Any other doubt? Okay, then let me just do the last topic. I will just take 10 minutes. It's something interesting. That's why I wanted to take it. No other reason. Recursion. Has anybody heard about recursion? I've used this terminology in the list. So what do you think is the meaning of recursion in normal English?
A function which calls itself, sir.
Is that recursion
Yes.
or is that recursion of function?
It is the
Yes. So
recursion
what
of
is recursion?
functions, sir.
That
A
is
function
recursion of
call
function, by
itself.
the way. That's very
A
different from
function
recursion.
when it calls
Yes,
itself
calling
again and again.
yourself again and again somewhere, right? So recursion is there in a lot of things. It's not just in functions. It's there in a lot of things. Calling yourself again and again. So I will give a very nice example. I really love this. If I write this statement is false. So is the statement false? This is a very good example of recursion without the function.
No.
If I say this statement is false, that means this statement is true, right? Because this statement is claiming it's false, that means this statement is true. So can you see there is some kind of confusion? Can you see that confusion? What is happening here? If I call this statement as true, but the statement itself claims it's false. But if I say this statement is false, I will have to negate it. That means the statement is true. Yes, it's ambiguous, right? Yes, that's the beauty of this statement. So this also proves. So can you write this statement is false in any other language? You can write this statement in any other language also, right? That is possible, right? You can translate the statement. So that's why human languages are ambiguous, right? So why I wrote this in recursion, because it's recursively calling itself, right? So whenever I write this is recursively calling itself again and again, and I'm stuck in a loop, right? So this also shows that human languages are ambiguous in some way. That's why we have like plethora of text literature where you can find different kind of meanings, right? Because it's ambiguous. That's why. This is not a part of recursion, but yes, this is something which is very interesting. So has anybody heard about Fibonacci series?
Yes.
Right? Yes, it's a very popular series. So recursion is just a generalization of that. In the sense, recursion is what? I have base case, then I have a formula to generate new things. In that sense, so you will see Fibonacci series is a very specific case of recursion. So for Fibo series, Fibo sequence, with base case is what? Suppose the first element is 0 and the second element is 1. And my recursion is, sorry, the formula, not the recursion. You can call this as recursion also, but here I'm using the word formula. Formula is nth element of the Fibonacci series is just the sum of the last two elements. Correct? Yes, you're just summing the last two terms. So what is f of 5? Can you tell me?
5.
Let's see. I'm not sure. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. It is 3, right? Not 5. Sixth element is 5. X is the first element, second, 3, 4, 5. Next in Python. Okay, let me not make a new page. Let me try to put it here. So I will write a small code. So I define a function fib, which gives me the nth term, right? So if n is double equal to 1. Oh, sorry, I forgot this. So if n is double equal to 1. So remember in Python, the comparison operator for equality is double equal to. Then what should I return? 0. If n is double equal to 2, I return the second element of the Fibonacci series, which is 1. Else, I use this recursion, right? Which will give me else return f of n minus 1 plus, sorry, fib. The function name is fib. So I'm recursively calling it the fib of n minus 1 plus fib of n minus 2. Does the code make sense? This is the code. Even without the recursion, you can see I've written some code which makes sense, right? It's syntactically correct. But symbolically, if you see mathematically, it gives me the nth Fibonacci sequence by this formula. So that is recursion. So what is the recursive thing here? The recursive thing here is I'm calling the function within the function itself. And that too I'm calling twice, not even once. Right? Is it clear? Please zoom out slightly. Yes, somebody raised his or her hand. This you can see.
Sir, Fibonacci sequencing is from 0.
Doesn't
Indexing is
matter. I
from
can
0.
index from 1000 also. I can index from not minus infinity, minus 1000 also. Doesn't matter.
Sir, I need to say that Fibonacci of 0 is 0 and Fibonacci of 1 is 1.
Okay, so you are just making a if you talk in terms of list, so if you start from 0, the index should be 0. That's all. But you can start indexing from anything. I can literally start from 1000. It doesn't matter. But while you're storing in a list, indexing matters. It starts from 0. Right? So here this fib of n is telling me give me the nth Fibonacci sequence according to the formula written here. That's all. It's independent of the what kind of indexing the Python follows. Right? It never uses any other kind of indexing. It just follows if n is from 1 to any integer, positive integer. Right? Anything else? Let me see if there are any doubts on the chat. I don't see any doubts. Yeah. So I will share some questions also. So please check the collab file. Not after this, by tomorrow. By tomorrow I will update the code as well. Notes I will upload as soon as possible, but collab I might take some 12-13 hours to update it. There I will write some code also. Please go over that as well. And I've given some challenges which you have to solve on HackerRank. Right? So that was all for today. Thank you everyone. Good evening. Sorry, not good evening, good night. If you have any doubts, I'm still there by the way for 6 minutes. Okay, YouTube link, how to access collab. These are like operation questions. YouTube link, I'm not sure, but to access the collab, Swati has pasted the drive link where I'm uploading the notes and the collab file. So you just need to join the group. I'm not sure where you will get the link, but there is a group where you can join and get the drive link. Right? So you can contact the operational team.
Yeah, I will give. Let me just paste it here.
Yes, Revati. So actually, couldn't do a lot of typing on the collab, but for whatever I have done today, I will at least have 2 or 3 code snippets related to that in collab. So don't worry. Yes, thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Vardan.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, you will get questions on WhatsApp group, and those who are watching on YouTube, you can ask any question down in comments, like, comments, and subscribe. Thank you for joining, everybody.
Thank you, sir.